What's up guys, Kamiro here. Welcome to another ANGR. I did want to preface this video by saying that during the gameplay for this video I did run into my first couple of bugs, as if playing this game for almost a year has just culminated in the biggest bug fest. Was not able to record it, but it was so bad. If it were on my original gameplay, I would have definitely hated it. But because I've been playing this game for as long as I have, I actually I still love it as much as I do. See, especially seeing the performance and all the reviews. So yeah, let's just get this over with. 2017 was an amazing year for open world sandbox gaming experiences. The bigger cluster of them was the triumvirate of the two Game of the Year candidates we had, and Ubisoft's next collectathon. Jokes aside, I honestly remember there was a debate between where all of these would fit. Would Zelda fulfill Ego Raptor's dreams of a hands-off adventure and abandon that stupid formulaic gameplay that has coddled and clouded and transformed their most expensive productions into glorified tours? What the hell is a Horizon Zero Dawn? And is it possible to pull off robot dinosaurs without getting bored of the spectacle like the 3-year-old who pitched in the elevator did? Would Ubisoft make a meaningful sandbox that you wouldn't need a can of Red Bull to complete without succumbing to boredom? Well, now that the subject has context, the debate's been settled, and what's bothered me enough to make a video on the least popular sandbox of this 3 is that no one wants to hear about the loser of the race. Let me explain. Breath of the Wild took the world by storm and sold an entire system by its merit of quality experience given a familiar IP with a super laissez-faire, actually difficult gaming style. It's a mold-breaking masterpiece. Horizon Zero Dawn was unique as a new IP in its own right. It also carried its premise well and told a meaningful story with believable characters. Also, super tight mechanics and creative gameplay definitely helped, so these two games had a lot of new stuff to work with. Wildlands, on the other hand, is an infamous member of the Ubisoft sandbox family, a boring conglomerate of cluttered maps, samey objectives, and tedious radio tower equivalents, and barely passable gameplay these days. Going into this, Ubisoft decided to ditch the gimmicks, ditch the cities, and ditch the scandal, and give a relatively pure gaming experience in my opinion. The biggest attraction in the debate for me was, what level of confidence did Ubisoft have to step up to this Nintendo and Guerrilla games? Also, could they keep the pace that they didn't lead? Well, let's put it bluntly. Ghost Recon Wildlands is the most okay game of 2017 in terms of sandboxes. Aside from the amazing draw distance and the refined gameplay mechanics that translates over into a stellar multiplayer experience, there's nothing special about it. Unlike Far Cry, it has no wild animal encounters to spice up the moment-to-moment gameplay. Unlike Watch Dogs, you don't have space-age technology to assist you in oddly invasive fashions. Unlike The Division, it actually worked that long and have new and neat little RPG elements to keep you hooked. Unlike Assassin's Creed, you're not forced to do things in a specific melee fashion and be a badass, and there aren't any historical settings and characters. Also no parkour. And it's at this point you realize that what it has that sets it apart is that it has nothing to set it apart. It doesn't even have radio tower equivalents. And thank the heavens that the core gameplay is defined to a tightly controlled, stealth it up or don't tactical experience. This sandbox might be huge and samey, but there's nothing much to bag on because they didn't manage to make their premise boring, as they chose a boring premise to begin with. Far Cry, aside from Blood Dragon, is an ironically sounding tiger and elephant infused snooze fest once you get to it. What I did love about this game is that Bolivia's representation in this game felt extremely alive. Environments were varied and the graphics were truly beautiful, even playing from an Xbox One. I enjoyed getting lost in this world. That's where most of my time in this game comes from, just driving around and doing stuff. I've been playing since beta and didn't stray from the highest difficulty. I've always played on the highest difficulty. So when I say that whether this game is an acquired taste or not, take it with a grain of salt. I was never a bullet sponge. I seldom got to go in guns blazing, and the highlights of my gaming adventure was when I was actually scared for my life, when everything was going right, or just having, to knock all the dominoes down. The hardest region, Montauk, was an absolute treat. Nothing was easy because the structures of the bases were generally hard to get the drop on because it's a military training camp, a series of them at least, and the boss was in a mountain bunker. If you didn't plan on playing this game like Doom, required careful and deliberate stealth before the inevitable indoor firefight with an ex-military traitor who just happened to be your old squad mate. Shit was nuts. Honestly, I would play a Ubisoft game like that, even if it weren't a sandbox. Kalani's Salt Flats gets a special mention as well because the lack of foliage meant that guns blazing mode happened a lot faster. I spent a while here and got good at using buildings and mines to take our reinforcements. Also shouts out to the Lamborghini clones in this game. They're absolutely just a dream to drive in Kalani. I stole one from one side of the map and drove all the way over to the Salt Flats just to hit max speed and ram my car into some military vehicle, because it was really just that fun. Lastly, the military states of Flor de Oro and Media Luna, run by the military police baddies, were pretty up there in terms of fun and challenge. Pissing these guys off is generally how you get the equivalent of GTA stars, and they really don't let up unless you can outrun them. Pulling off a clean operation gave you that yes feeling, similar to taking a test while you're unsure of what the content was and getting high marks regardless. We've all been there. Aside from that, core gameplay was generally story, guns, go to next region, which is fine for me, but yeah, I can see where that would be, repetitive. Everyone else hates that. I like taking down all these bases, collecting real guns, I guess, based in reality, and seeing how different the personalities handle pressure. One of the big shocks to me when I was invading this person, I just cornered this person to their mansion, and I take all their guards out, and I come around this corner, and he fucking hanged himself. And I was like, whoa! The game, it was like, oh man, look what he did. Look what you made him do. Like, are we the good guys? It was really cool to have those questions asked. It was really cool to... It broke the meta because we're not shaking down all these sicarios. These are, at least in this world, they're real people and they succumb to pressure, and they're all different in their personalities. And I really enjoyed that. When that guy hung himself, I jumped. I was like, crap, what do we do? I'd like to note that Ubisoft eventually took this game seriously after the terrible, just fucking awful Narco Road DLC, Fallen Ghosts, and a competitive 4v4 Ghost War mode. Those are actually pretty cool. It's immense and decent from a co-op competitive experience. I thoroughly enjoyed both. And even the Predator hunt with the jungle move was a fresh experience. And I realized how much I hate bullet sponges in hide and go seek games. The Predator is a novel idea, but God, was it terribly executed. I'm still props to them for being able to even remotely pull that off. What I respect about Ubisoft this time is that the company didn't give up, much like they didn't with Rainbow Six, and it really helped keep this game a fresh experience. I kept coming back to it. But how would I fix some of the spicier bits? Second, ANGR, armchair developer time, you know what it is. AI changes, duh. Taking out the snipers blinds the entire base. Why don't people check for their lookouts if they bother making a tower for lookouts, especially under a rebellion? Rebels have no tactical prowess, which is probably on purpose. They're just guerrilla fighters. I would make them hold their fire until you do. You're there to save them at least. Helicopters and planes don't have any impact when they explode and fall. And destroyed vehicles have just terrible sound design and the world presence after the initial explosion. They just kind of are there, and they're indestructible after they explode. It's kind of it's stupid. Definitely would give this some better treatment, if anything. I never mentioned this, but your clothes don't change anything. Armor is just purely cosmetic, and colors don't affect the visibility. Would change definitely. It doesn't matter if you're wearing booty shorts and a pink polo with gold rimmed sunglasses. You're still as camouflaged as you would be in a ghillie suit, or a ghillie suit, however you pronounce that. Dressed in leaves and camo, aiming from a billion miles away, or even 7 meters away. No one cares. The game doesn't care. And also, make the Santa Blanca with scout units more aware, and give the Unidad cameras, because these guys are synonymous with raiders and gunners in Fallout 4. Like, there's the Santa Blanca, they're just regular bad guys, and then the Unidad are just more organized bad guys, and they typically have classes, but you don't fuck with Unidad and you fuck with Santa Blanca after you get strong enough, just like in Fallout 4. I don't respect that, and I'll get to that if I ever talk about Fallout 4. In terms of scoring, I'd give this game, numbers suck, right? But this game, for me, is a 7 out of 10. And in terms of, like, the American grade schooling system, that's a C. And that's typically what I'm going to go by for now. But this game is definitely, like, if you don't own it right now, you should probably rent it if you're even going to think about playing it. That's about it for now. Thanks for listening to this ANGR. Remember, follow me on Twitter and Instagram, because I'm on those. But thanks for your ears. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.